Trick or treat. Go pack go, folks. Go pack go. Happy Halloween. Let's go.
This is Tom Grossi, and you're watching the Pack Reacts podcast.
Let's go.
Go pack go, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Halloween. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their candy. Or you're getting tricked and getting pranked. Well, hopefully it's a good Halloween for you. But it is Packer football here on the channel. Welcome to Pack Reacts. I'm your host, Jeremy Haller, and tonight I'm going to be repping here. I'm going to carry the channel for Pack Reacts because Mike is unavailable. He's on trick-or-treating duty of giving out candy, folks, to the kids. So will be me tonight since I'm out here. But yes, we'll be talking Packer football as usual. And our episode the title for our episode tonight is Packers win on another game-winning field goal like they did against the Jaguars like last time here, folks. So we'll be talking about recapping the Packers-Jaguars game, giving you a preview of the Packers-Lions game, and talk about these injuries too, and whether we think the Packers should sit Jordan Love this week or not. If they should, we will see about that. But let's get to here, folks. The Green Bay Packers defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fantastic to see that. And the Packers add on to their winning streak once again on their 4-game winning streak. Mike was right of his prediction and said the Packers are going to go 4-0 on this stretch of predicting these games, and he was right. So, Mike, congrats if you're watching right now, folks. Congrats here. But we got the big test. This is our biggest test, I would say, for the Packers so far this season personally. And that is we're taking on the Detroit Lions, folks. And the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. No question about that. If you want to argue about the Chiefs, well, I would heavily disagree. I think the Lions are a much better football team in general. So it'll be interesting there. And then to look at the Packers' rest of the schedule, you got the Bears in Chicago, but they go on a bye after the Lions game, go to Chicago, then they play the 49ers at home, then they play the Dolphins on Thanksgiving night. Then they go at Detroit in December. Then they go at Seattle. Then they go to they play home against New Orleans against the Saints on Monday Night Football. Then they go at Minnesota, and then they finish off with Chicago the final week, folks. So it's going to be a bit tough stretch here for the folks, and this is going to be the battle test for the Packers because they took part of their easy schedule and beat the opponents they were supposed to defeat, like the Tennessee Titans, like the Colts, like the Rams, like the Cardinals. Heck, you can put the Texans in there, but they're playing right now against the Jets, so we'll see about that. And they took care of business against the Jaguars. So they took care of the easy schedule. Now it's only going to get harder, folks. Now it's only going to get harder. But this is what we're looking at here for the Packers way, and we'll talk about that later. But let's recap this game here against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the biggest thing I will say in this game was the Packers were dominating this game throughout the entire time. Up until the third quarter is what I would say it started to go down for the Packers. And in that game, you had Jordan Love start the game. And in the early third quarter, he gets hurt and goes down. Like he's not looking right. He looked off of his throwing here there. It wasn't the arm, it was mostly his leg. And he eventually fell on the sideline and just couldn't get fly. They had to put Malik Wilson and he got the job done for the Packers, and they won 30-27 on a game-winning field goal. But Jordan Love did not look that great coming off the injury. He hobbled a bit, and he was dealing with groin issues, what it was determined, folks, from the game. And it just wasn't looking that great. It really wasn't. And he was a limited participant today, folks. But I think the Packers I think he could play this week, but I really don't want to risk it. If he's not 100% healthy, then I don't want to have him. I don't want him to risk it. I'd rather see Malik Willis play just because I'm looking at the long-term situation than just the short-term. I'd rather have Jordan Love for the rest of the season instead of if he gets hurt again in this game, he could be out for the season, and that would be devastating for Packer fans at the Packers. Be devastating. But we got to hope for that, folks, and you just got to see better. You hope that he's okay. He was a limited participant today. There's a realistic chance he could play, so there's a good shot out of that. But back to the game here, folks. I mean, shout out to the Packers defense once again. They put on a show, and they got the job done. They did. I mean, despite giving up 27 points, they were doing pretty well. looking at their stats here, they had the key interception with Xavier McKinney. They had a key um, sack that caused a fumble from Trevor Lawrence and got scooped up by the Packers defense, and they almost took it to the house, but they recovered it, and then the Packers scored a touchdown on that drive. So Packers won the turnover battle 2-1, I believe it was. Excuse me. Yes, 2-1 it was, and they got it. But overall, I mean, looking at this defense specifically, like the secondary played a good job besides like late in the fourth quarter because they were playing prevent defense and that kept annoying me and that kept bringing the Jaguars back in the game. I was very pleased with the linebackers. Edgerrin Cooper was fantastic in the game. Eric Wilson had some key tackles, and so did Isaiah McDuffie. And this team did not allow a third down throughout half the game. They didn't allow a single third down conversion from the Jaguars, and that is pretty impressive to do that because the Packers defense usually allows a lot of third downs. They usually allow that, and they finally got that to stop. They finally was very good at that in stopping that, which is pretty awesome. Look at the sacks. There was only one sack. I would have liked to see a bit better there. I mean, there was a lot of pressure. Obviously, Cooper got the sack. There was good pressure, though, I will say, from the D-line, but I would have liked to see a bit more sacks if we could have. But they did get in Trevor Lawrence's face. They had 4 QB hits. They were getting pressure on him a lot. That was pretty good there. And then going to the run defense, which I thought was pretty good because for the run defense, they allowed Tank Bigsby because Tank Bigsby played in the game because Travis Etienne was dealing with an injury and he didn't get to play. Tank Bigsby had 78 rushing yards. That's pretty good for the Packers run defense when we've allowed pretty much over 100 rushing yards this entire season each game, which that was pretty good. So I liked that on the end. And then they did, again, you're forcing Trevor Lawrence to make plays that he wants to. He did have 308 passing yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He had that 1 interception to Xavier McKinney, which we'll talk about him in a bit. And then he completed 21 out of 32 passes. Again, not so bad there. And the 104.7 passer rating, folks. Not terrible for Lawrence, but it was the Packers did get pressure on him when we needed to. So that was pretty good to see that. Awesome to see that. And then for receiving end, I mean, back again, their leading receiver was Brian Thomas, a rookie. He got hurt in the game and he got to get taken out. He's getting out for a couple of weeks, folks. He had 3 catches for 60 yards in that key touchdown. That was very annoying to see that because the Packers are playing prevent defense right at the end of the game. It was just like very annoying. I'm like, we really don't need to have this, guys. And Jeff Hafley was doing that. That was really the big thing that was annoying. But no, credit to the Packers coaching staff and Malik Willis getting this stuff out here because as soon as Jordan Love went down, it did not look great. The tides were turning a bit. The Jaguars were getting hope because the Packers defense was stalling the Jaguars offense out for the majority of the time. But the Packers offense couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything for a bit. Then you had that key run from Josh Jacobs that over, I think it was like a 26 rushing yard TD. That was pretty awesome to see that. He had 2 rushing TDs on the day, which was pretty good for him. And he had over 127 rushing yards on 25 carries. Pretty awesome to see that. I really appreciate this run game. Like that, this is Matt LaFleur's offense, and what I really like about him is he includes the run game heavily. Now they're not going to run all the time, but they use these key concepts like play action. They fake it and they throw it to a guy wide open. And this is some of the things that I really like about this Packers offense. They get starting to click together. I mean, obviously Malik Willis is still undefeated as a starter for the Packers so far this season. I don't know how, but it's worked out. He's done. He did. They didn't put Malik didn't put the ball in the harm's way at all. He made the plays that were necessary. He had a nice third down run to get that first down. That was like a 20-yard rush. That was a 20 rushing yard attempt, folks, and he got the job done there. And then obviously came clutch with having that wide open play to Jaden Reed, I believe, was down the field. He was wide open, and Malik had to throw the ball. And I kept saying throughout the game to myself, like, he's eventually got to throw the ball and come up clutch for him because Malik was not throwing the ball at all. He attempted 5 passes, and he only converted 4 of them. But he did get the job done, and I really appreciate him on that. And got the dub for the Packers. He got the dub, put him in position, and it helped him out. But hopefully Jordan Love's okay. I would like to hopefully see that back in there for the Packers. Hopefully it is. So I would like that. Hopefully Jordan Love play. I mean, if he's gonna play, I need to be 100%. If he doesn't play, or if he's not 100%, excuse me, then I don't want to play. It's really about the health, and I trust the medical staff for the Packers because they are very conservative of like if he's not really good to go, then you don't play him. And the Packers medical staff has done a fantastic job over the years of doing that. So kudos to them. Talk about this receiving game for the Packers. Tucker Kraft, he was the leading receiver, 3 catches for 78 receiving yards. He had one nice touchdown. He had that 67 yard completion. It wasn't a bomb. He got like maybe a 20-yard catch, and he kept running down the field. It was awesome to see that on National Tight Ends Day. He got the touchdown, so that's fantastic. Got Romeo Dobbs. He had a nice catch here and there. There was a couple that him and Jaden Reed could have obviously caught, and they got to catch the ball. But Dobbs had a good day. 3 catches for 72 yards. His biggest one was a 29-yard catch he had. Jaden Reed, he had 2 catches for 55 yards. His biggest catch was that 51-yard from Malik Willis late in that game to set him up for that game-winning field goal. Christian Watson, he had 4 catches for 39 receiving yards. Dante Wicks, two catches for 11 receiving yards. And then besides that, nothing else there. Yeah, I'm happy that the Packers put up 30 points. That was pretty awesome to see that. I would have liked this game should have been a bit more difference here and there of like spread wise. I would have liked to see that because Packers were letting the Jaguars get back into the game in the fourth quarter, and you cannot allow that. Even when you're that high up in the score, you got to keep it better for the Packers, and that they got to do a better job at that. I mean, they've done a solid job with that overall in the season, especially with Jeff Hafley, but you got to do a little bit better in that situation, especially when you're going to go up to Detroit, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But going to this Packers team here so far, you got Malik Willis and Brandon McManus, the 2 in-season acquirements. Packers would not be 6-2 without them. They'd be probably have at least 4 losses. They might be 4-4 or be even worse right now because Brandon McManus comes in, he gets the 2 game-winning field goals. The one against the Texans, obviously against the Jaguars. So that's 2 wins right away there. And if he made field goals in the Minnesota Vikings, if they had him for the Minnesota Vikings game, they could have won that also. They could have won that maybe. And then Philadelphia, Bray Narson missed a field goal, which hurt the Packers, but it didn't really hurt him at all, but like still hurt him a little bit. So that was one thing. And then Malik Willis comes in for the Packers, and he has done a fantastic job. I mean, I love him of like his response to the crowd of like with the media about like just take it one day at a time. He's like a very humble guy, and it's like awesome to see that. But when he's coming to the game, it's pretty awesome. He helped the Packers win against the Colts, the Titans. Then he came in against the Jaguars, and that's 3 wins he has for the Packers. Awesome to see that. And yeah, he's done a fantastic job. And the Packers traded a 7th-round pick for him. That's insane. When the Packers are having so many issues at backup quarterback of going through Michael Pratt, Sean Clifford, and we didn't trust any of them of like, oh, well, Packers, we don't know if they're going to Jordan Love gets hurt, then the Packers season's over when we were evaluating these in the preseason. We were evaluating these quarterbacks in the preseason. So that was a big thing there. That was just a big thing there to see that. And yeah, that was a big thing. And then the 7th-round pick for him is just insane. That was a fleece steal. Good job, Goody, of making that trade. It's pretty awesome. Like Malik Willis has done a fantastic job. I wouldn't mind him putting him in against the Detroit Lions. It would be nice to see that if Jordan Love's not fully healthy. You got to give it to Malik Willis. He's done the job. What you asked him to do, he's done the job. And yeah, those 2 moves have been pretty awesome to see that. Then shout out to Matt LaFleur. He's done an incredible job so far with his team. He's definitely in the Coach of the Year conversation. I don't know about being the number 1, winning the award right now, but he has to get consideration. And it's so annoying to see him on like with DraftKings or when you look at the odds for him, he's like ranked like way below and does not even deserve to be up there. And it's ridiculous. He needs to get more appreciation out there, and we need to see that out of him. We need to see that out of him, and it would be nice to see that. Really be nice to see like the adjustments he's made. He helped Malik Willis win games. He's helped out Jordan Love like procrastinate and like evolve in previous game too. And this offense is just awesome. Like the details and the adjustments he has made has been outstanding, and he's helped them win so many games from that. Like they almost came back against Minnesota and won. I was pretty awesome to see that. They should have won against Philadelphia, but they didn't. But like it's good. It goes to show you that when the Packers are down heavily, they're not out of it. They're still putting up a fight, and they're not going down without a fight. And it's pretty awesome to see that. So kudos to LaFleur, and then again Jeff Hafley. Kudos to him, and I'd like to give a shout out to Xavier McKinney. He won Defensive Player of the Month award, folks, for October, which is awesome to see that. You don't see, that many. You don't really see that many secondary guys win. Usually it's a pass rusher most of the time, but obviously you had last year with the Cowboys secondary cornerback Bland win a bunch of times in the months. But no, the last time the Packers had a defensive player win the award for defensive player month. Excuse me. Last time the Packers had a Packers player win Defensive Player of the Month award was when Clay Matthews was with the Packers, and that was in 2009. That is a long time. That was the last time the Yankees won the World Series. Fortunately, they didn't. If Mike was on here, he'd be sad about that. But no, it's been a while since the Packers had that. And Xavier McKinney, he is reminding me of Charles Woodson. The way he's playing out there, the way the Charles Woodson that I know from Green Bay, not the time in the Raiders. When he came to the Packers as a safety, it was awesome. Yeah, he is making key plays. He's making the stops. He's making what you need him to do in the coverage, tackles, everything. He's doing it all. And he's leading the league in interceptions, which is awesome to see that. He had the record go. He had a streak going of interceptions in consecutive games, which is awesome to see that. But he's done a fantastic job. And Packers easily got a home run. That was a home run signing for the Packers. And I was so excited. That was my number one guy I wanted the Packers to get this past free agency, because I was like, he kept reminding me of Charles Woodson. He kept showing the traits. And Packers really need help at safety, because last year they punted the position, and now they got a pretty good, strong safety room out there with Bullard, Evan Williams, and McKinney. So pretty good to see that. And yeah, Xavier McKinney, like fantastic to see that. Hopefully he keeps it up. We love watching him out there, and he's a ball hawk, and he's just awesome to watch. Awesome to watch him play in the green gold uniform. Awesome to see that. And then give another shout out to Adrian Cooper, which Cooper put up a fantastic game. He had that key strip sack and had almost got the fumble. The Packers got the fumble, but he made the key play and caused a turnover for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Packers got a TD on that. He won Defensive Player of the Week, which is awesome to see that. The Packers haven't had that in a bit. I can't remember the last time somebody got that for the Packers, but also to see his defense do it. But yeah, it's pretty awesome to do that. I mean, and then Brandon McManus did make his field goals too. He made consecutive ones. He got a 31-yarder. He had a 38-yarder. And then obviously for the game-winning field goal, that was a 24-yarder. That was like an extra point attempt. But no, he did a fantastic job on that. That's pretty awesome to see that. So overall, I'm very happy. I mean, I knew coming into this game, I said last week could be a trap game, because when Matt LaFleur was talking about it in the press conference last week that the Jaguars have lost by a few points here and there. They've been close games, so don't overlook the Jaguars. And Packers got the job done, so that's pretty awesome to see that. And yeah, so I'm very happy to see that with the Green Bay Packers beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's pretty awesome to see that. But going back to this Packers team so far, going back to the Packers real quick of like this upcoming week, the injuries are a bit concerning to me. I don't know who's going to play this week, looking at the injury report, because a lot of our stars are hurt. A lot of them. Now, just to give you names, just to remind you, got Jair Alexander. He dealt with a knee injury. He was like hopping on that play against Evan Engram when he caught the TD, and you could clearly see Jaw just trying to swat at it, but it's like he's far up and he's almost like trying to catch the ball and try to intercept it, because he thought it maybe go through the hands of Engram, and he was hobbling a bit off the field. He has not practiced this week, which shows me he's probably not going to play this week, which is going to be annoying to see that. Corey Ballantyne, he's dealing with the ankle injury. He's been dealing with it for the past couple weeks. He was a limp participant Wednesday and Thursday, or Wednesday and today, folks. So he probably get upgraded depending on how Jaw's playing or if he practices tomorrow or not. If Jair practices tomorrow, that's a good sign, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough for him to play in the game against Detroit. That'll be interesting to see that. And then you got Kenny Clark. He's been dealing with a toe and shoulder injury the past couple weeks. He is a participant this week. Josh Jacobs, he's dealing with an ankle injury. He was hurt towards the end of the game. He was shaken up a little bit. He's fine. He said in the locker room he'll be good to go for Sunday, so that's a good sign for the Packers. He didn't practice yesterday, but he's only a participant today, so he should be good to go. Elton Jenkins dealing with a glute injury. He did not participate yesterday, but he was only a participant today. He will probably be good to go. Jordan, he did not practice. Jordan Love did not practice yesterday. He was only a participant today. Again, we'll see how that goes. If he's not 100%, I don't play the guy. I'd rather stay safe with him and see how it goes from there. But if he feels like he's good to go, then you play him. But if it was me and I was in charge, I wouldn't put him in. I personally wouldn't put him in. I would just rather keep the safety of him and just rather punt this game away. Even though it's a divisional rival game, this could definitely impact us for the division because the NFC North is the best division in football, no question about it. And they got to take care of business. Take care of business for that. Next player on the list is Josh Myers, which this could be concerning for the Packers. He's their center. He's dealing with a wrist injury. He did not participate. He hasn't been at practice at all this week, which is a little bit concerning to me. So that's they got to figure that out. If he doesn't get to go, then it would have. If he doesn't go this week, then it would be Elton Jenkins who would go to center. So hopefully, Josh Myers is good to go. Hopefully, he's good to go. Then Quay Walker, who dealt with the concussion from the Houston game, he did not play last week against Jacksonville. He is a full participant so far this week, so he will be good to go for Detroit. So that's awesome to see that. Rasheed Walker. He's dealing with a knee injury. He did not participate yesterday, but he's limited participant today. I believe he will be good to go, so that's a good sign. Evan Williams, the safety, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. He has not participated this week. I don't think he'll go. Depends again tomorrow on him, but I don't think he'll go against Detroit, so that's going to hurt us a little bit because I've liked him. I've liked the rookie so far, but obviously got Bullard, so there's a lot that they could do with him. But Williams has been a playmaker. He reminds me a bit of Micah Hyde back when he was with the Packers. You see the growth. You see the growth of him, the opportunities, because it's kind of reminded of Micah Hyde, like I mentioned before, of shows the potential. He's making the right plays, but he's also making some annoying plays that are just like, you can't be doing this. But he's doing fantastic. And then the last player on the list is Devontae White, who recovered the fumble after Edgerrin Cooper stripped it from Trevor Lawrence. He's dealing with an ankle injury. He's been dealing with the past couple weeks. He finally played last week for his first game back in a couple weeks, and he's the only participant so far this week. He will probably definitely be good to go this week, so that's a good sign. Then looking to Detroit, they also got a lot of injuries, but I would also say the Packers is more about their stars. The Lions, they somewhat got a bunch of the stars, but let's look at it first, folks. Joshua Pascal, their defensive end, he's dealing with illness. He has not participated at all this week. And then Malcolm Rodriguez, their linebacker, he's dealing with ankle injury. He has not participated at all this week. That is one of their stars. He is most likely not going to play this week, according to ESPN and NFL Network from hearing from them. Taylor Decker, their offensive tackle, is dealing with a chest injury. He did not participate yesterday, but he's a limited participant today. I think he'll be good to go. Wingo, their defensive tackle, is dealing with an ankle injury. He's a limited participant today. He didn't practice at all yesterday at all, but I think he'll be fine to go. Then Graham Glasgow, their guard, he needs some rest, and he'll be fine. He's just going to be a full participant. He'll be a full participant tomorrow also. He was full participant today, so he should be good to go. Jared Goff dealing with an ankle injury. He did not participate yesterday because he got the ankle injury. He suffered the ankle injury yesterday in practice from what I was hearing, but there was also rumors that he got it in the game too, so I don't know about that. But yeah, he did not participate yesterday in practice, but he was a full participant today in practice, so he'll be good to go play this week. He'll play. He'll be all right and go out there for Detroit. Then look at the rest of the guys. You got Martin. He was a full participant so far this week, dealing with a knee injury. And then you got Levy, another guy who's needed rest. Full full participant. Rango, rest, full participant. DJ Reader, rest. A lot of rest here from looking at this line. So really, they don't have a huge injury report like us. You got Sony Vaki, the running back. He's dealing with a knee injury. He's full participant today. So not that much hurt from the Lions. The really big one could be Jared Goff, but again, I don't see it happening. Yeah, I see him playing this week, and then of course for the Packers, is this going to depend on like our other guys like Jaw, our offensive line, Josh Myers, Jordan Love, the biggest one, Evan Williams. Those are going to be the big ones that you're going to have to wait and see for tomorrow's practice, see how that goes, folks. But that is your injury report update here, folks. That is your injury report update. And let's just first off, before we even get into the Packers-Lions game, let's just look at this. Let's look at the standings right now. Folks. So currently, Packers are second in the NFC North. They're currently second place in the NFC North. Then when you look at the conference in the NFC-wise, the NFC picture, they are the 5th seed because they are one game behind Detroit. Now, if the Packers beat the Lions this week, they would be first, and arguably they could be potentially the number 1 seed by the end of Sunday. They could be, because the Commanders are currently 6-2. So depends if the Commanders lose this week, then the Packers. If Packers win and Commanders lose, Packers are the number 1 seed then. But this is definitely be a divisional decider here. Divisional games are always important. It's always important whenever you play against your rivals, and this is an NFC common opponent too for the conference, because to me, I think the battle for the NFC North is going to be between the Lions and Packers. Again, I think whoever stays healthy, and personally, whoever, not this upcoming game against the Lions and the Packers, but whoever can take care of the schedule and who wins that last game against these two teams. The last time these two teams play each other in this regular season, that will be one of the big deciders for me of who wins this division and everything. But that is something we got to watch out for, folks. It's something you got to watch out for, as we are the 5th seed. Then you got the Vikings, the 6th seed. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, the 7th seed. The Bears, the 8th seed. And if we look at from last year's postseason, guys, of the NFC picture, bunch of teams aren't even in the playoff picture. You got the Dallas Cowboys. You got the 49ers. You got the Rams. They're not in it. The Eagles were just out of it last week. You have the Bucks out of it right now, folks. I mean, it's a bit crazy. I mean, there's a lot of crazy games. And we'll also talk about some other NFL games that happened this past week, like the Commanders game against the Commanders-Bears game. That was insane, and that was awesome to watch that live of the Hail Mary. That was just fun. But, so the Packers, to me, I could see them getting, if they don't win the division, let's just say this. If they don't win the division, then I could see them get the 5th or 6th seed. It also depends on the Eagles, because the Eagles hold the tiebreaker over the Packers because the Eagles beat the Packers week 1. The Eagles lose one more game than the Packers do for the rest of the regular season, then the Packers would overtake it. But the Eagles, I mean, right now, they play an easy opponent this week against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are banged up right now. Then you go against the Cowboys, and then you face the Commanders. That is going to be a tough. I think their tough schedule is going to come up very soon after the Jaguars game, because you got the Commanders. The Rams could be sneaky. They could be. You got the Cowboys. Then you got the Ravens. That's going to be an awesome game to watch there. Then they got the Panthers, who are an easy opponent. Then you got the Steelers. That's an interesting opponent. Then you got the Commanders, the Cowboys, and then you finish off the Giants, which they're going to easily sweep the Giants. Unless the Eagles are going to rest their players, but still. There are hard schedules coming up too, folks. So that the Eagles are going to be something to watch out for, of like how the seeding goes for the Packers. But really, it's going to come down to seeing the rest of these teams. Like, if the Packers are going to win, like let's say they win the division, for example, I think that it's going to be between the Commanders for the number 1 seed personally right now, unless an NFC West team comes out, because the 49ers were expected to go very high. I do see the 49ers still getting high, because going high up, because they're on their bye week and they will be getting CMC back and Greenlaw, who had his horrific injury in the Super Bowl. Non-contact injury. It was just brutal to see that for him. But the 49ers will be getting stronger very soon, folks. So the 4 losses is pretty good to help the rest of the NFC out, because I do think this is the 49ers last year of where they can compete, because obviously you got free agency. There's a lot of guys going to be free agents, and this is going to see how long can they survive. How long can they survive it? So that'll be very interesting to see that, folks. Interesting to see that. And the Packers do hold the tiebreaker over the Cardinals, so that's a good thing. If the 49ers win the division and the Cardinals get in the wild card spot, then it's going to come between that. Then you also got the Vikings again. We'll see how that goes there. But yeah, I really think that, the Packers, their chances right now, they're close to a 70% chance of making the playoffs right now. And you got to take care of opponents. You got to take care of opponents like you did last time, and that's been the thing for them. It's like I mentioned before, tough schedule, and the easy teams. You can't take it like easy. You got to take care of business. You got to take care against the Lions. You got to take care against the 49ers. You got to take care against the Bears, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, Saints, Vikings, Bears. You got to take care of all your opponents, guys. You got to take care of all your opponents if you really want a shot at getting the number 1 seed or getting a high seed, or just getting a good seed in the playoffs of like the wild card spots. Personally, if you don't get the number 1, or if you don't win the division, then your main goal is to get the 5th seed, because usually they face the worst division winner, and most of the time, whoever is the 4th seed usually loses in the playoffs. So yeah, that's going to be something to watch out for, folks. It's going to be something to watch out for. But let's get into this Detroit Lions game. As I already mentioned about the injury report, the Detroit Lions, let's look at them here real quick, folks. Because when I'm looking at them, they have the best team overall. Offensively, it's fantastic watching them. You got the 2 good, Sonic and Knuckles is the nickname. I forgot to mention about that. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's Sonic, because of his speed and talent's amazing. Like, if I was Detroit, give that guy the ball more, personally. But he's insane, and he'll be good for so many years. They did extend Dave Montgomery, and Dave Montgomery is a very good RB2 option and it's a good running back duo. I think it's the best running back duo in the league, easily, in my opinion. You got Dave Montgomery, as I mentioned before. Then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers in this game. Oh, I did forget to mention this for you guys. Jameson Williams is suspended because of the drug policy. So he is out this game, and then he might face sports suspension because he got arrested with possession of a gun in his car when he was getting pulled over by the police. So that'll be something interesting to watch out for. You got Sam Laporta. That is one of the that's one of the best tight ends in the league. Then you got this amazing offensive line with Zeitler, Ragnow, Klasko, Decker, and Sewell. That's pretty good. This offense is like the number 1 offense, especially in scoring. Especially last week, the Titans were holding on to the they did get onto the Titans did get onto the Lions for about 5-10 minutes in the game, and then after that, the Lions blew them out. And it was crazy to see that, because Jared Goff didn't have the greatest game, and the Lions still dominated by putting over 50 points on the Tennessee Titans. And I know the Tennessee Titans are not a great football team, but that's impressive when you can put 50 points on an opponent. Still impressive. Their defense is good. It is solid despite losing out on Aiden Hutchinson, which is one of their best players on the defense. So it'll be interesting to see that. Their weakness right now is their secondary, I will say. Their weakness right now is their secondary. Terrion Arnold, their rookie, who the Lions took right before the Packers. He is pretty good. He's had some flag issues, so that'll be interesting to watch out for. Brian Branch has had a fantastic season, so you got to watch out for him. You got Carlton Davis also to watch out for. Packers can attack them in the pass game, which they did do that. And if they could start off hot, start off the game like they did in Thanksgiving, then they can make this into a ball game. I'm not gonna say that the Packers could easily win this game. They can make it to a ball game, is all I'll say for that. If they can get the right momentum started going here. Their run defense is pretty solid overall. They did allow some good rushers in the past, but they have a pretty solid defense overall. So that'll be good to see it from there. But yeah, it's good to see it from there. And then looking into, excuse me, then looking for for this Lions team. I mean, true weakness again, it's really the defense, but like, and the only time Detroit really struggled was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they lost 2016. And in that game, they forced a bunch of turnovers. They obviously did pick their poison by allowing Amon-Ra St. Brown get over 119 receiving yards on 11 catches. But Goff was not having a great game. He threw 2 interceptions. The run game for the Lions did not do like so fantastic as many people thought it would. I mean, 84 rushing yards for Jahmyr Gibbs is still good. And 35 rushing yards for David Montgomery. I mean, combine that together, that's pretty good compared to what Detroit rushing usually puts up. Excuse me. So yeah, I think for me, that's how it's got to be for the Packers. You got to win the Tower. That is definitely got to be a big thing for that. And I mean, the Detroit Lions defense can get after quarterbacks. I mean, they put 5 sacks in that game, but obviously you lose Aiden Hutchinson. So it's interesting to see how pass rush does. I mean, they did have a good pass rush against the Tennessee Titans, but again, the Tennessee Titans don't have a great offensive line, so you really can't compare that too much there. But again, it's got to be something you got to watch out for, guys. You really got to watch out for that. So it'll be interesting to see that. But I think the key things for me for the Packers, if they really want to get in this game, now we don't know again who's going to be the starter, who's going to be playing. Now, if it's Jordan Love, I'll give you two phases for it. If it's Jordan Love, and I know Detroit fans want Jordan Love because he's not going to be 100%, whereas I want Malik Willis because he's 100% and he might not be the better quarterback, but yeah, still, if they can do better with, I'd rather take the healthy guy, and I'd rather keep Jordan Love for the rest of the season at that point. But this is at Green Bay, 4:25 game, America's game of the week, so it'll be interesting to see that. Now, forgive it from Jordan Love's side. Jordan Love plays. Do what you did in Detroit last year on Thanksgiving. Get your turkey leg back. Because he did not get his turkey leg on Thanksgiving, which is a shame, and it should have happened. Ridiculous. I blame Greg Olson for that, who's no longer doing America's Game of the Week. So that's probably one reason. No, just kidding. But for Jordan Love, he's got to stay present in the pocket. He can't run. That's the one big thing. He's got to not turn over the ball. That's one big thing because he's at least had a turnover in every game he started so far this season. That has got to clean up, and he's got better reads on defense because this Lions defense is no joke. No joke they are. So if the Packers can start hot, and that's going to be the same for Malik Willis, of him too, I'll say, Packers win the coin toss. Start the game. Start the game with the ball. Start the momentum of the game. You score a quick touch. You get a touchdown on the first drive. Awesome. You put the pressure on the Detroit Lions. And I'm just going to say this, even though we are not favored at home, because usually when your team's home, you get -3. The Lions are favored -2.5. And my point, I will say this is house money for the Packers personally, because the Lions are the better team right now, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say the Packers are a great team. They are. But what I've seen the past couple of weeks, the Lions have been the best football team in the league right now. So if you can make this into a game and if you win this game, that just goes to show you the Packers are right there. They are right there in the Super Bowl conversation. They're right there amongst the best teams in the league. Now they're already a top 10 NFL team right now, in my opinion, but this puts you into like top 3, top 4 conversation wise. So again, for Jordan Love, got better read on defense, not get hurt, don't turn over the ball, and make good decisions and make the right reads and run the football. I will say too, because the Packers did get a good. You gotta have the run game moment. You gotta start with the run game, and that gives you open up for the play action. If you can do that, that's pretty awesome to do that. But yeah, that's what I would say for Jordan Love. The Malik Willis, just take care of the ball. Take care of the ball like you've done. You haven't turned over the ball yet, which hopefully you don't, knock on wood. But you got to take care of business here, and make the key runs. I like when he runs when he's like make the rush when there's like nobody wide open. He makes the run. Like I like him running on the field because it gives you like another key component that Love doesn't have, because Jordan, he will run, but he doesn't run much, and clearly won't be able to run that much with this injury. He's got to be careful of himself. But Malik, this gives us the option here because he can run and can get the job done of like that. Of like the times I want him to run is when it's necessary. Don't be running all around the field like every single play. Run when necessary. Run when you need to run. Just run when you need to necessary. And that's a big thing for me. And then the arm, he's got the arm. I will say that. But I would like to see some more consistent in the passing. I know Matt LaFleur is being very conservative, and I appreciate him with that. But there's going to be a time where you're going to have to, where Malik is going to have to go for it. Of like, you got to be a little bit tight and risky with him because the passes, I mean, he's not going to throw deep balls. We all know that. So he's going to make the simple short ones. I mean, despite the one he had with Jane Reed last week, that 51-yard completion to help him win the game, he's going to have to make some. He's going to have to make a couple. He can't just make one. He's going to have to make a couple here and there. But if they move the chain and they keep running the football, if they play good covering football, they can win this game. I'm not going to say they're going to win this game, but I'm not going to say this is going to be a blowout. This is going to be a blowout for either side. Now, I said that last year, and I said the Detroit Lions going to easily beat the Packers, and look what happened. The Packers blew out the Lions, which was awesome to see on Thanksgiving. But you got to take care of the football and play complementary football. Packers can definitely make this a game, and the Packers could win this. Like they could make it a fight and win and pull us out of here. I'm not going to count them out yet, but the Packers defense has definitely got to address of that Lions offense because the Lions offense has been averaging 33 points a game. Can't be having that. They have got to at least force turnovers on that Lions offense. They've got to make them go 3-and-out a couple times here and there. And the Packers just got to put the pressure on the Lions. Put the pressure on them. Because when the Lions are under pressure, it's not so good. Packers, again, keep putting the pressure on the Lions. That's going to be a key thing for me. And yeah, I really think they could. I think that the Packers could definitely win this game. But I think overall, I think it's going to be the Lions. Just, again, if Jordan plays, I don't like it because, again, if he gets hurt, he could be out for the season or he could be out for a couple weeks, and that just hurts the Packers. Because after this, you're on your bye weekend, I'd rather just play it safe and let him heal up, miss this game, head into the bye week, and heal up. That's what I would like. But, again, it's going to be a playoff game. This is like a preview of the playoffs here because this is definitely going to be a playoff matchup, and this is going to be a good game to watch because both of these teams should have beat the 49ers last year in the playoffs. Both of them, easily. Packers, they had against the 49ers until, obviously, Anders Carlson missed that field goal. Lions, they had it until they choked heavily. They choked worse than the Packers against the Seahawks in that NFC Championship game, which, again, that's something there. But the Packers, again, I think they can take care of business. I really think they can. They can get it. So that's my big thing for that. But, yeah. That's my key for the game. I mean, my prediction, I'll say the Lions. I do think this will be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be 28-24 Lions, I will say. I really think this is going to be a good score game, and I think it's going to be a closer game than many people think it's going to be, personally. But, yeah, Packers are able to win this. Then this just shows you that the Packers are right here. And the Packers league are the league leader in takeaways, which is good. So Xavier McKinney would not be surprised if he gets an interception on Jared Goff. Would not be surprised. So, and these are two of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. So this is going to determine the NFL of where these two teams are for the whole picture, but really determine the NFC to see who will be closer to getting the high seed and who looks the best. Because in my opinion, I think these two teams are the best teams in the NFC easily. Now, you had the Vikings up there, but then they lost the Rams on Thursday Night Football last week. So that demoted them down a little bit for me. I put the Commanders up there, and we'll get it right into it with the Commanders. But, yeah, I think the Detroit Lions and the Packers are the best the best teams in the NFC right now, in my opinion. But let's get into this Bears-Commanders game because this is insane to watch from that because no way did I think the Commanders were going to win on that Hail Mary. I purposely didn't. But it was very interesting to see how this all played out because that last drive was very interesting to me. And yeah, the when you heard the post game press conference from the Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, there were some things that did not sound right if I was a Bears fan, which I'm not, but there are some questionable things that he said, and I don't understand it. But like first off, he said they practiced this play 100 times. Clearly, you didn't practice this play 100 times because you would have Stevenson just jawing at the fans and tipping the ball up in the air to give the Commanders the win, pretty much. And you did a four-man rush. I don't like that call on the last play because you were giving Jane Daniels so much time. You got to force him out of the pocket. And they forced him out a little bit. But he was just buying time and everything. To do a five-man rush would have been much easier. And that's what the Lions did on the Minnesota Vikings when they played each other. And the Lions did that and worked out of the five-man rush. So that was one big thing. The other thing was the right before that, 10-yard route out to the left to Terry McLaurin. It was a 2-second play, and they got it down because no one was covering. Nobody was covering him, and all the Bears players were far back, and it was just ridiculous. I don't understand that. Where's the coverage? I mean, I get it's like 4 seconds left in the game, but you gotta do a lot better than that. And what Matt Eberflus said in the postgame really annoyed me of like, well, that play doesn't matter at all. It really comes down to the last play. Yes, the last play does matter, but you gave Jane Daniels make it a lot easier for him to get the ball all the way down to the end zone. Because if he doesn't get that 10 yards, that ball is well short, and Bears probably win the game. Like that's the reality. So that was a bit annoyance there from watching that. It's really the scheming I was a bit annoyed with, especially even with the four-man rush. They had a spy linebacker. Why do you have a spy linebacker on the last play? Makes no sense to me. Like, what do you think? Jane Daniels is going to run all the way from from the 50-yard line all the way for a touchdown? No, that's not going to happen. And plus, they didn't have any running backs back there at all either. They only had offensive linemen. So you send the guy on a blitz. You send him on the blitz. And I know Jane Daniels is fast, but he's also dealing with that rib injury too, guys. He's dealing with that. So that was a big thing for me. And I just was not a fan of the execution for the Bears. It was just a joke. It really was. And you saw, I felt bad for Caleb Williams at the end there, just as just in general, but because he hasn't looked great so far this season, in my opinion. But yeah, I felt bad for him there just because that was easily a Bears win. They had it. They had the momentum when they scored that touchdown within 30 seconds left of the game, and they got the job done there on the offense. The defense, and that's the best thing about this Bears team is their defense, and it has been. You can't do that. In situation, you got to be better than that, Bears. You got to be better than that, and that's something that they got to take care of. And that just hurts. That hurt them too. That really hurt them. And I'm just happy because the Packers, because the Bears lost, that helps the Packers out a bit more. Because you don't like to see the Bears win, but yeah, happy to see that. And Commanders, that play, it's the best play of the season so far, I would say. It's the second Hail Mary that happened because the first one was Aaron Rodgers, and I know that very well when he did with the Jets against the Bills. That was awesome. But this one was crazy to see that. That was just crazy to see that. And yeah, just insane. Just insane to watch that play live. It was just awesome to see that. But yeah, just crazy to see that. And then, yeah, just crazy. And then, yeah, just amazing play to see that, folks, I will say. Just amazing play to see that. But yeah, good. That was a good game to watch there. And then obviously you got the Packers. Again, this week they are taking on the Detroit Lions in Green Bay, 4:25 America's Game of the Week, folks. So that'll be awesome to watch that. It'll be interesting to see who will be going the quarterback, folks. That'll be interesting. But I'd like to give you guys a rooting guide, even though we're so far away from the playoffs and to make the playoffs because it's a couple weeks of they need more wins and everything. But I like to give you guys help for the Packer fans of who your rooting guide is of how if teams lose now helps you out in the long run instead of waiting until last second I need this team to lose so the Packers make it in the playoffs. So to look at this real quick here, you got obviously it's the Packer Detroit game. That's the big one. The next ones to me because there's not that much. The next one's to me. You got the Giants and Commanders. I would want the Giants to win, and I would rather have the Eagles win the division. I'd rather see that, folks, because again, the Eagles hold a tiebreaker over the Green Bay Packers. So if the Commanders lose out in the division race, and the Packers could overtake the Washington Commanders because they don't play each other at all this season. Packers Eagles did, and the Eagles won that. So Eagles win that, take the division. Packers could definitely get a higher seed if they don't win the division. So they could potentially get the 5th seed, folks. But realistically, it's probably even the 5th or 6th seed for me. If they don't win this division, is where I see for the Packers. So that's one game. If I'm a Packers fan, rooting guy for you, root for the Giants, even though it's not going to be great, but root for the Giants against the Commanders. Next game, it's the Jaguars Eagles. You do want the Jaguars to win against Eagles. If you don't want that scenario to happen, if you just want to make it a lot easier for yourself instead of the Giants beating the Commanders, you'd rather see the Jaguars beat the Eagles, because if the Eagles lose this week and the Packers win, then the Packers be one game over, and that tiebreaker would not matter at all because the Eagles and Packers wouldn't have the same record. So that is something to watch out for. But most likely, the Eagles are definitely going to beat the Jaguars, being favored by about 8 points. So, yeah, not great for that, but most likely Eagles will win. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see that. Next game for me will be the Arizona Cardinals and the Chicago Bears. I'd rather see the Cardinals win. Packers do hold a tiebreaker over the Cardinals, but I'd rather see the Bears lose. And it gives the Packers hopefulness to get closer and stay apart from this, increase the margin of the differential of record-wise, and to get better chances to win the NFC North. Despite Detroit, it would hurt Chicago's chances. And the Cardinals are favored, so I would like the Cardinals to win. Next game, you got the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Now this, it could go either way. And to give you a report real quick, Puka Nacua, 12 minutes ago, Adam Schefter reported Puka Nacua exit practice with a knee injury. It's not believed he's serious, but that could definitely hurt him because he just got back from the IR. So, rule for that. But if I'm I'm a Packers fan, we did beat the Rams. I would like the Rams to beat Seattle, but Packers do play Seattle. So Packers lose Seattle, let's say in the future, you definitely want the Rams to win now. If the Packers beat Seattle, then it really doesn't matter that much to me. I think the better team personally is the Rams if they're healthy. But if I'm a Packers fan, I probably would want to see the Rams win just to play an insurance policy there. Because it does help you because you have the tiebreaker. But also helps you with the head-to-head tiebreaker. Helps you out with another tiebreaker too. Helps you in the strength of victory and strength of schedule too, folks, because that is one of the tiebreakers, and I saw for when the Packers and the Bears had the same record a couple weeks ago. I saw that the Packers were ahead of them, and the reason I saw that was because strength of the victory and strength of the schedule. So that is one key component that could definitely play a factor. So I'd rather see the Rams win against Seattle. I'd rather see that, folks. So for me, if I'm a Packers fan, I'd rather see the Rams win just to play an insurance policy. Then the next game, to round it out, is there's two more games. I'll start with the Colts-Vikings game because that's Sunday Night Football. Colts plain simple. Again, the strength of victory because you play against the Colts. And this is the Vikings. The Vikings are 5-2. They have a good record, but can they sustain it? I don't know. They look fine until they lost to the Lions, and then they just lost to the Rams. They've looked a little bit down. Colts can win this for the Pack. If the Colts beat the Vikings, that really helps the Packers out because again, helps to make it a two-headed horse race against the Lions. Wouldn't have to worry about the Vikings. And it helps the Packers out because they did lose to Minnesota, even though Vikings and Packers play against each other later this season. Colts beat the Vikings. It does create the differential where the tiebreaker wouldn't matter if the Packers have one more win than the Vikings. So if a Packers fan and you're always a Packers fan, you hope the Vikings lose because you hate the Vikings. That's just a thing. So again, you need the Colts to win. Next game, you got the Bucks and the Chiefs. Okay. To make it simple, I'd rather see the Chiefs win, even though they're still undefeated and they're 7-0. I would like the Chiefs to lose, but if I'm looking at playoff picture wise, and if it comes like let's say it comes down to the last spot, and the Packers just miss out by one game, let's say, and the Bucks got the last spot. This is where I want the Chiefs to beat the Bucks. I'd rather see the Chiefs beat the Bucks out here, and it helps out because again, same record wise, it could definitely depend on this and makes the Packers' life easier. Makes the Packers' life a little bit easier. I don't think it affects it too much, but wild card and could be like the division wise because Packers beat if the Packers win the NFC North and the Bucks win the NFC North, again it could be the same. Like if the Bucks have one more win, and if the Bucks have like one more win than the Packers, and it was because of this game, well that's why. So I'd rather have the Chiefs win. I'd rather have the Chiefs beat the Bucks. But to give you again heads to recap it once again for you folks, so you hope for a Packer dub. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you hope for it. Then you hope the next one again is the Giants over the Commanders. Don't think that's gonna happen. Then you want the Jaguars over the Eagles. Probably not gonna happen. Cardinals over the Bears definitely helps them. Rams over the Seahawks just for right now. I would say Colts over the Vikings is pretty much the biggest one besides the Packers Vikings game, or excuse me, the Packers Lions game. The Colts Vikings game is the second biggest importance, I would say, for a Packers fan to root for your reading guide. Then you got the Bucks Chiefs. You'd rather root for the Chiefs. That just again for your conference wise there, because the Packers don't play the Bucks at all this year, so that'll be interesting. Then the Cowboys Falcons game. Packers don't play these two teams, so I'd rather see the Falcons I'd rather see the Falcons win this division personally. Just I think it gives I think they'll be them or the NFC West will probably be the fourth seed. So I think the Falcons are not between the Cowboys and the Falcons. I mean, Cowboys you still fight up for like a wild card spot where you're looking at right now. For the Falcons, you're just trying to keep the division alive. So if the Falcons can pull away with it, then it makes it a lot easier for okay, you don't really have to worry about the Falcons to the playoffs. So they get in and clinch it. Then you just have to have the rest of NFC South get out. So that and the Cowboys' job is a lot tougher right now, folks. They're at this point they're just trying to get a wild card spot because they're 3-4. It's not looking great for them, and both of these teams need to win heavily. The Falcons win this definitely improves their chances of making the playoffs in the division. Cowboys, this just gets you back into the playoff conversation if you can get it. So, yeah. So I would say that, folks. I would say that. And then honestly, tonight's game, not that important to me personally. With the Texans, Jets. I mean, the Jets, well, they still stink. Me and Mike talked about it last week where we won the trade against the Jets. We got Robert Saleh back. Got Robert Saleh from that, and Rodgers, well, he's not looking good. He's not looking good. CJ Stroud, well, again, I mean, you could have the Texans. If Texans beat the Jets, it does help the Packers out theoretically, strength of victory. So if I had to have that, and they just got a touchdown, folks. Yeah, they just got a touchdown. They just take the lead 7-0, folks. But yeah, if I'm them, I would just do that. Just do that for them. But again, it comes down to a couple things, and obviously we'll talk about it in a couple weeks here and there. But yeah, just to say that, folks, I would say that for Packer fans' sake. So hopefully the Packers can get a dub, and you hope for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I just hope it. I hope it happens, or at least it's a good game. Make it a good game for the Packers at least, and you win, great. If you lose, I won't be that disappointed, but make it a good. If you can win, great. Make it a great game is all I really care about. But hopefully Packers win. Fingers crossed on that. But yeah, but that'll do it here, folks. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, Packers are currently 6-2, came off a game-winning field goal against Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon McManus, second time he has done it in the past 2 weeks, and has been the savior for the Packers as the Packers have save their kicker for right now in that position. So knock on wood for that. And Malik Willis or Jordan Love, we will see who's starting this week. We will find out as we get closer to Sunday football, folks. So stay tuned for that. And again, we'll be here next week here. So stay tuned. Have a great night, everybody. As always, go Pack Go. Happy Halloween. Trick or treats. If you're a kid watching this right now, go trick or treat. I'd rather go trick or treating. Get that candy, folks. It's 9:30. Those houses are still going. Trick or treating is not over yet. And then honestly, sit down. You can watch some football here as we got the Texas Jets game on. But you could also do watch your Halloween special. You could watch some movies. You could watch your Halloween special. The biggest Halloween special I know, folks, is the Charlie Brown one. You got to watch that one. But the other ones, just watch some Halloween. Just enjoy your candy and watch the Halloween specials is what I always did, folks. So enjoy it. But once again, folks, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. That's a wrap in the studio. We will see you next week. And as always, go Pack Go. Let's beat the Lions. Let's go. Go Pack Go. Let's go.